Morning guys, it's May the 11th, I'm Henry Green from London Trading Group and I'm just going to run through what we're looking for in the markets for today. Starting with Euro Dollar, we have just run down to the 21 moving average on the day and we are holding quite nicely on that. We've respected it before in the past, so you have to expect this one is going to potentially hold. I do think there's potentially a move down to the 50. I think that one holds nice, a little bit more nicely, so I think 112.90 is the next target on the bottom side. On the 60-minute, as you can see, we are holding perfectly on this 50 moving average, so 112.90 lines perfectly up with the D, so I think that could be a nice move should you get that dollar strength kick in, and we do hold again on this 50 and we roll over. I think 112.90 is a really good target for the euro, and then we potentially see a bounce from there. So on the week we were very, very bearish, but now I think a pullback to 38 is at 113.15, so it kind of all lines up to take us down to 112.90 to complete everything and then potentially hold down there, and I do like it should it get down there for potential a longer term buy all the way back up towards the 125s level that we've talked about in the past. So I think euro, whether it does this today or not, I don't know. I think it potentially just goes sideways. You might get another blip higher as it likes to do, clear some stops and then come off, but certainly the last 3 days have been pretty choppy in the euro, and certainly I wouldn't be expecting another move until it shows me that it's ready to go. Cable on the other hand, I think this one looks potentially like quite a good buy today. I think you might get a pullback down to this 144.30 and then go higher. Everything kind of says to me that we could have found a bit of a floor, medium-term floor here before this push higher. So I do expect this to rally, and I'm going to watch for this one today. I think this one could be a big move if you do break the top side. So as soon as we've successfully closed above this moving average that I've got, I'm going to be looking for a long in this one. All the moving averages have come through the bottom as well, so you've got the 8, 21.50 all nicely aligned now, so you could now see this jump higher. I do like cable as a first target up to 145.30. So if we just, I've not fibbed this top side yet, so let's have a look. Where does this lead you? Okay, so the first target in this one leads you up to 145. So that's about 50 pips. You would expect this to be an overextended D if it is the break of this trend line that we have seen. So maybe get a pull back into the trend line and then go. So I'm going to be looking for any sort of good area to potentially look to buy cable today. 15-minute high, low, and then through the highs I'll be looking to buy it. I think 145 as a first target is a good one, but then you might get an overextension due to the nature of the break, and we could now see this trade higher. So we have kind of found a good floor. I like that 143.80 level. I thought that was a really good level. So we have now held. Everything's completed in terms of what it should have done on the week and the day, and the path now is clear to go higher. So you've got to be looking for that top side, and if it is this move, then I can't miss it. I think this has to be one that you have to watch for, and you can't miss this big move potentially back to the top side in cable. So that's what I've got to watch for. Dollar yen. Dollar yen had a good day yesterday. Again, a nice rally up to the resistance up at 109.40. I did have that as a level. We got to the 127, as you can see on the 60-minute chart here. You blipped a little bit higher after a pullback. Didn't want to break the 8, but now we have broken the 8. This could be a pullback before leading lower. So this is kind of saying again that we potentially could see a bit of dollar weakness. If we do pull back to the 8 and reject, we could see this trade back down to the 38, which is down at 107.70 now. I don't know whether it gets quite low as that. This has been a nice rally in dollar yen, so I'm going to play this one on the short side with a bit of caution, and I do think you have to favour the long side if that's what it's showing you in this one. And again, all you can potentially do at this one is expect that it's going to be a fast move. We did go through the 127, and we are now holding on this 50 moving average, so you've got to be careful of dollar yen playing the short side for this one, but certainly it could be a fast move, and we could now see that extension up to 110, which is a good level if we get there. So I think that that's potentially a good trade in dollar yen. So set that up on a 15 potentially. Be looking for that first high low to be made and through the highs. I think that's probably quite a good buy up through there should we see dollar strength. Dollar CAD, let's have a look at that one on the day. So dollar CAD, yeah, nice. Well, it's a fair rejection. It wasn't the most bearish rejection yesterday, but certainly I think that it does kind of open up the short side once more in dollar CAD. This is the side that everyone's favouring at the moment. We're back at the 8 on the weekly chart as well. Let me just have a look at that, make sure I've got the full picture in this one. Yeah, okay, so it does look like we could now break lower again once more in dollar CAD, and I do see this getting down to the D. So if we manage to get down to the D, that's at 122.70 on the day. So how are we going to get there? Well, the first sign, remember, has to be this break of a trend line. Now, have we broken a trend line? Yeah, you could potentially say we have. We've broken this. I mean, this is very steep, but it has been broken. Whether or not it's hit the D, people would question, as it was a shallow pullback, so you kind of expect that to overshoot. But what I'm actually going to favour is one more blip higher. I do think it has to hit that slash trying to get a little bit higher than it before we then turn lower. But if we do get a lower high through the lows, I think then this one does look good. Where does that take us to? So this could just be trying to get to a move down to the 38. So if you fib this bottom side, the bottom side takes you down till we hit it perfectly. So okay, we did hit the bottom side D, so that's good. Now we're back into the 38, and the bottom side takes you down to 128.50. So 128.50 could be the good target for today. Again, I might be looking for that one, to be fair, seeing as it kind of coincides with my custom moving average. There's a few things that I like about that one. So dollar CAD maybe down to 128.50 again if you see that dollar weakness that potentially cable and dollar yen are showing us. So I do potentially like that as a short. Aussie dollar, let's have a look at this one. Aussie, I'm expecting a bounce at some point when it hits it. So we are, where did we get to? So on the 60 we got down to the 118 without a pullback, so we haven't quite got back to the 38 yet, and I think this is quite a safe buy back up to the 38 to be fair. If the market's saying that we didn't quite get there, then I do like this to pull back. 74.20 looks like a good zone of rejection, so I think a buy in Aussie up to 74.20 looks pretty clear. Again, this one's pretty similar, although you have broken the trend line on the day. This is now complete in terms of the pullback, so now you can expect this to go higher. I like it on the week as well, so let's see how Aussie closes this week. But certainly EMAs are starting to turn, we're starting to roll underneath them, so we could now see this bounce higher, and maybe we start to do the fibs on the top side. The trend line's been broken, so again that's the first sign. We could now move up to this outer trend line before the official break is confirmed, but certainly Aussie up towards that zone in here, which you can see on my mouse at the moment, around 75, 75.80. I think that's probably quite a good target if you manage to get the break today. Kiwi, right, let's have a look at the Kiwi. So Kiwi sold off late into last night and then recovered somewhat after the meeting had finished. So where are we now? So we're down at 127. We have pulled back to the 38, so this is still into the short zone, and this double top on the day can't be ignored. You have just respected that 68.25 retest, so that might have cleared some stops, and now we could potentially see this trade lower. But if it doesn't, and we finish like this on the day, then this is a nice morning star for Kiwi dollar on the day. So now we could potentially see it trade higher. But other than that, I think this could roll over, and 66.90 for me is a really, really good buy zone, or potentially a good sell zone down to it. So if you get a lower high through the lows of 67.80 sort of zone, I think then this could trade lower, and certainly it could get all the way down to 66.90. One thing to note though is all the moving averages have crossed. We're now underneath the price, and so they're going to act as significant support to this market before we then push higher. So if we just put the fibs in again, these have been hit and overextended. So this is the most recent fib we're on. So if we take this one for example, the D now leads back up to a retest of this broken counter trend line up at 68.80. So that could be quite a good zone too. Again, that's going to take you higher, and that will certainly clear some people out who have been short from the double top on the Kiwi dollar. So I'm going to watch that as well. I think the clearer one for me today is probably cable higher if you get a pullback, and if you get dollar strength, and I think dollar yen probably is quite a clear buy. And Kiwi dollar looks like quite a good sell as well. So there's a few that are lining up today. I'm going to wait to see how this plays out. But yeah, I hope that's been useful, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another market update. Happy trading. Click subscribe to never miss a video again, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Thanks very much.